Hello, my friends, and happy Sunday. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, pet mothers, children mothers, and earth mothers. Maybe we can spend a little time honoring our beautiful Gaia, our beautiful earth that somehow has been neglected and misunderstood and pushed out there as if she is separate from us. So it's become clear to me. I've been listening to some beautiful meditations with somebody and for a while, and it has really occurred to me how we really are the earth. And not just as a mental concept or saying, yeah, I know that, but really start feeling the reality of that. And when I started really kind of grasping that, and I'm still in the process of that, but it's so incredibly beautiful, and it's so misunderstood that Gaia, planet Earth, it's one organism, and this one organism is a beautiful expression of the divine, just as you and I are. It's no different. And it just happens to be so that we are these little cells, these little light cells, part of Gaia, part of the big light bubble called Gaia. We are not separate from that. We do not need to leave her in order to be nourished and fulfilled and getting our needs met. And when I started seeing that a while ago, there was definitely a shift happening in here. Because I had not fully, and probably still haven't, but I hadn't fully really grokked that Mother Earth provides to all of us and fulfills all our needs. Not that Mother Earth is taking care of me, it is simply because we are one, we are not separate from her. So her energy, her frequency, her expression, her being has everything in it to nurture and nourish herself, experienced individually as you and me and everybody else. But it's not like, oh, I can trust her, she's going to provide for me. It's like, no, I am at one with her. There is really no way that I cannot be fulfilled by her because we are not separate. And if you think about Gaia, Mother Earth, everything under the sun and under the moon and everywhere in between, everything is there for everybody's fulfillment. Now, I know the mind wants to probably jump in and say, yeah, but how is she going to pay my bills, my mortgage? How is she going to bring food on the table? Well, the last one is, that's pretty much all she does, right? She provides food and nourishment just by her beingness. There's nothing missing. It is us that have turned away from receiving that, from realizing that we are her, we are at one with her. So we don't need to go out there and do something to get what we need. And of course, we have all heard about that before, but let's see if we can maybe make it a little more conscious, a little more practical as we go along, and also maybe in some future YouTubes. But the first step is very much about becoming conscious how we are turning away from our awareness that we are at one with her. I don't know if this is going to make sense to everyone. I'm kind of trying to fumble my way a little bit when I'm talking about it. But the feeling of that oneness, it's like the ocean, right? The ocean does not withhold wetness or H2O from anything in there because it is all the same. It is all one big ocean. And every part of the ocean is nourished by what the ocean supplies. And everything in the ocean is unique, right? There might be a fish, there might be a plankton, there might be kelp, and a ton more things that I don't really know about this very moment to mention it. But it is all in there, and everything is being nourished by that. So if that example resonates, then we can use it for the planet. We are the little fish and plankton and seed kelp, whatever. That is us. And we are being nourished and nurtured by the allness of Gaia because we are not separate from it. We are just like a drop in the ocean. We are a drop of planet Earth. And that's why it is a shift in consciousness. It is not something about finding a reason why it won't work, because that's what we have been doing for eons. We always tell ourselves or each other, or we hear it from others that, there is a big lack and I have to do this and I have to work harder to get my needs met. But all along, here is Mother Earth, and I'm not just talking about the physical aspect of it as, you grow your food, there's trees to build a home, etc., etc. That is all here, and that is, of course, all for us to enjoy and make use of as long as it's done in a sense of wholeness, so it stays whole within the Gaia expression. So there's a lot more to it on an energetic level. And that's why when you go out in nature, you start tuning in and you start feeling more of that oneness and the wholeness because your mind is slowing down. It's very common when we go out in nature, right? The mind slows down. That gives us the opportunity to tune into the trees, the air, the energy in the woods, in nature. And there is a sense of nourishment in that because there's something in us that feels nourished by it. That's why most of us love being in nature. It gives us something that we can't really go and buy in the store. So that is part of Gaia. She provides in many ways. And this was a sweet little gathering I was at not too long ago where we were asked to go out in nature and, talk to nature and see if there was some part that spoke to us that we wanted to bring back in when we met inside. And so I was out there, I was just sitting, and then there was, I think it was a lavender bush. So I just touched the bush and then I smelled the lavender. And there was such a sweetness to that, right? And I could do that many times. So I thought, I'm just going to bring in, the aroma, the flavor of this lavender bush. And so that's what I shared in there. And everybody else had something that they brought in. And for some reason, I was just moved to bring in the more subtle, ethereal part of nature because it is so often overlooked. And it was really speaking to me when I just touched it, and it's like, oh yeah, thank you. This is so precious. So that is part of Gaia, where she gives in so many ways. The animals. I have a cat that is she's. It looks like she's dying. She's been shrinking in for the last 2 months, but she loves being out in the earth, being outside, just really melting into the earth, right? And there's something called earthing or grounding because there is an energy, there is a frequency, there is probably a healing frequency that we can all benefit from. There's a lot of books written about that, and I can see it in my cat. She just loves being there. I just see how much she enjoys it. So there is a nourishment that is everywhere that we overlook because we are living in the head, in the matrix, and the matrix does not recognize that. And that's why I want to just bring it up today. In that meditation, some of the meditations I've been joining recently, there was this talk that there has been some kind of a membrane or a shell or something that prevents us. Now I'm doing this, but it's everywhere, right? It's a membrane, and I would call that's the veil of illusion or the overlay or the simulation. There is something here that prevents us from being in full connection with Gaia as well as with each other and everything around us. But since it's Mother's Day today, I really want to celebrate Mother Earth and just honor her and maybe just, bring some attention to the fact that it seems there is something that is preventing us from really feeling that oneness and that connection with Gaia. And it is that connection with her that I felt like with the lavender, like, oh, here it is. There was nothing tangible, but it was so there, so beautiful. And that when we don't take time to tune into the field, then we miss that connection that nourishes us on so many levels, not just physical, but on many levels, but certainly also physical. So the more we honor Gaia, the more we will receive it without taking it. There will be a natural honoring of her and respect and thank you, and open up to the gifts that she is giving all the time. And it is really up to us to deeply tune into her and then open up to receive what she has to offer. It's not like she's gonna, knock on your door and say, "Here, here's a gift for you." It's here all the time, all the time. And it reminds me of one of the quotes in the Bible where I think it was a Sermon on the Mount. Take no thought for your life, for what you shall eat, drink, be clothed. Look at the lilies; they spin not, they toil not. If I'm butchering it a little bit, you know what I'm talking about. And then it's because it says your father, and I would say Gaia, same thing really. The divine knows your needs before you do, and it is her good pleasure to give it to you to fulfill your needs. My friends, this is where we are moving into. This is becoming our new reality as we step out of the matrix where it's all about lack, limitation, struggle, battle, war, division, having to work hard, whatever it is. We are leaving that behind. And what we are entering into then, it is that natural fulfillment that is everywhere. And the reason it's so hard for us all to embrace and accept that, and that's for me too, is because we have been so conditioned to focus on the problems in the matrix. And that's why it's very hard to let it go, because there's still part of us believes that I have to work hard to make ends meet. That's a matrix trap. It's a tight one. So the more we can go out and tune into nature, tune into Gaia, and let her show us. It's really that same as prayer, it's like, okay, show me Gaia, show me divine. How can I just receive the fulfillment that is everywhere? And then we have to wait. That's when we have to open up and let that membrane or the veil dissolve by not focusing on it, but by focusing on the field. It's like tuning into the field and then allow the field to let us know. I think I will stop here for today. I don't want to make it too complicated. But hey, go out in nature and connect with Gaia and let yourself be nourished, nurtured, fulfilled, healed by her, by that energy, by the field, and see what happens. If we can make that, a more regular part of our life so that we start expanding more outside of the matrix and start letting the matrix go. We can only do that by not engaging in it and then instead engage in what is here outside of the matrix. We just can't see it because we're not looking there. So I would love to hear if anybody has a comment or an experience with that. It's always lovely to hear from others who are doing it, who are living that, so we can be inspired by each other. Okay, well, happy Mother Earth Day. Have a blessed day.